Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance.
Had Barbara Donaldson lived in another time or place, or had the inclination, she would have made an excellent football coach. You know, those coaches you see in the movies, not on the sidelines, the people who transform lives through inspiration and sheer force of will. I'm thinking of someone like Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans. In one scene, his character, Coach Boone, takes a newly integrated high school football team to the battlefields of Gettysburg. He uses history as a metaphor for sportsmanship. I don't care if you don't like each other, he says, but you will respect each other, and maybe we'll learn to play this game like men. I can hear Barbara saying something similar to the kids who have had the privilege of calling her Carver, Massachusetts house home. For them, of course, the game isn't football, it's life. Here's a typical Barbara story. One day, one of her foster sons decided to give up schoolwork. All schoolwork, of any kind. He informed his teachers of his intentions, and then he informed Barbara that he was shopping around for a new foster mother. Now, like any good coach, Barbara was unfazed. She was calm, she was firm, she was focused. She had a game plan. The two of them sat down at Barbara's dining room table. She let him know that they would stay there night after night until he decided to resume his schoolwork. So they sat and sat and sat for weeks, for months, for nearly the entire school year. And finally, the young man gave in. "You are the most stubborn person I have ever met," he told Barbara. Today, this young man is the recipient of a Presidential Achievement Award. That's right. And he's on his way. And he's on his way to a fine community college. By working hard and focusing on school, he has blazed a new path in life, like so many of Barbara's foster kids throughout her 26 years of service. Now, one man she hadn't seen in many years recently approached her at the bank, and he said, "You're the reason I graduated from high school." Right? "I won't quit," offered Barbara, who eventually adopted one of her foster sons, invited two other young men who had aged out of foster care to remain in her home, which they have, and is the legal guardian for yet another young man. "I won't stop where others stop." Her late husband, Bill, would be proud. A former police officer, Bill learned about Massachusetts Mentor from a friend at church. He thought it would be a great way for Barbara to earn an income while taking care of their son, Scott, who suffered from asthma. Scott and his family now also live with Barbara. She also has a daughter and another son. "It's the Brady Bunch," she says, usually with a laugh. For Barbara, though, a sense of humor is really no laughing matter. It's an important tool for managing the serious work she does of helping young men live up to their potential. Patience and persistence help too. One of her foster children lived in residential care for 14 years. No one thought that he would ever leave residential care. He was locked into behavior patterns. So, for example, he ate nothing but Cheerios until he met Barbara. So every day, once he met Barbara, something new would appear on his plate. And every day, he would ignore it. And finally, Barbara gave him a slice of chocolate cake. "I don't eat cake," he said. He said, "Try it." Barbara insisted, and you can probably guess the rest. So, to us, it's just dessert. But to the young men in her family, that chocolate cake speaks to the ordinary joys and opportunities in life that Barbara introduces them to. It makes them understand that they are like everyone else. And through the fog of abuse and neglect and physical and intellectual challenges, these young men can now see life's promises and possibilities. You might say that they can see life's just desserts. Barbara has the same effect on her fellow mentors, not just her foster children. She hosts the Hyannis program's longest-running weekly support group. It's a family, really. "They got me through my husband's death," said Barbara. And when one of their own faced terminal lung cancer, they moved the meeting right into her hospital room and stayed with her till the end. Barbara, for successfully coaching young people in what you might call the Super Bowl of life, to stick with our football metaphor, for 26 years of patience and persistence and perseverance, and for creating an extraordinary extended family rooted in dedicated service to others, I am proud to present you with the 2012 Ripple of Hope Award.